You're looking for a display that won't quit on you after a few months. That's easy enough to hook up so you can actually start showing content the same day. And that feels like a solid investment rather than just a shiny piece of tech. I get that hesitation. You've probably seen a wall of specs and wondered if any of that actually translates into something you can rely on in a busy office or a bustling lobby. That's why I'm going to walk through the Samsung QM98T the way I would if I were setting it up for my own company, and what you should keep in mind before you click buy. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most buyers ask is, do I really need a 98-inch screen? In a corporate setting, you're often balancing a need for impact against a limited budget. A screen that size does make a statement. It fills a wall and lets you display multiple feeds, dashboards, or brand videos without looking cramped. But the impact only works if the picture looks sharp from the typical viewing distance in your space. For a 98-inch 4K panel, the sweet spot sits around 8 to 12 feet away. Anything closer and you'll start to notice the pixel grid, which can feel underwhelming if you were expecting a cinema-level experience at arm's length. That's something you have to measure in the room before you commit. Installation is another real-world hurdle. The QM98T is a commercial-grade LED, so it's built to be wall-mounted with a robust bracket system. The unit itself weighs close to 150 pounds, meaning you'll likely need a professional installer or at least a few strong hands and proper anchoring hardware. The good news is Samsung includes a detailed mounting kit, and the panel has a flat back that aligns with standard Visa patterns, so once you have the right brackets, it's a straightforward job. The downside is that you can't just toss it on a desk or a simple stand. It's designed for a permanent wall or a ceiling suspension, which adds to the upfront cost if you're hiring a contractor. Now let's talk about the everyday usability once it's up. The built-in smart platform is where this model tries to differentiate itself from a regular monitor. With Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and Bluetooth all built in, you can connect it directly to your content management system without a separate media player. In practice, that means you can pull a live data feed from a corporate dashboard, stream a YouTube channel for a lobby, or schedule a loop of promotional videos, all from the Samsung Tizen interface. For IT teams, the Ethernet port provides a more reliable, wired connection that avoids the occasional hiccup you get with Wi-Fi in crowded office buildings. I've seen a handful of businesses use the Bluetooth just to sync a wireless keyboard for quick on-the-fly changes, which can be handy during events. The 8 milliseconds response time is another spec that looks impressive on paper, but what does it mean for signage? In a corporate environment, you rarely need the ultra-fast response of a gaming monitor. What matters more is that the screen can handle quick transitions between video clips without ghosting, and an 8 milliseconds panel does that just fine. If you're planning to run static graphics most of the day, you won't notice it at all. If you want to broadcast fast-moving sports or high-action videos, the panel still holds up, but it's not the kind of display you'd pick for a dedicated video wall that's showing a live esports tournament. Brightness and ambient light handling are practical concerns that often get glossed over. The QM98T is designed primarily for indoor use, with a typical brightness rating around 350 nits. In a well-lit lobby with large windows, that can be sufficient if you have some shading or if the content is high contrast. However, if you're thinking about mounting it near a sunny glass wall or in an outdoor covered area, you'll start to see washout during peak daylight. In those scenarios, you might need additional shading, anti-glare film, or consider a higher brightness commercial display. It's a hidden trade-off that catches a lot of first-time buyers off guard because the spec sheet simply says 4K UHD. Power consumption is another reality check. A 98-inch LED panel draws roughly 300 watts at full brightness. Over a 12-hour workday, that's about 3.6 kilowatt-hours, which translates to a noticeable electricity bill if you're running it 24/7. Samsung does include a power-saving mode that dims the backlight when there's no motion detected, but you still need to factor that into your operating costs. For a small business with tight margins, that ongoing expense can add up, especially if you're comparing it to a smaller 55-inch sign that uses half the power. So, who should actually buy this thing? If you're a mid-sized to large corporation that needs a permanent, eye-catching display in a high-traffic area, think reception desks, conference rooms that double as video walls, or an internal communication hub where you're constantly rotating dashboards, live feeds.